Good morning. My name is Bob Hill, and I serve as the Monroe County Coroner. Excuse me. With me today are Chief Jason Donjon with the Columbia Police Department, Assistant Chief Carla Heine, Detective Sergeant Michael Barnett, and Detective Luke Moravec, who have played vital roles in this case. On March 28, 2002, a crew from the Illinois Department of Transportation, while cleaning the shoulder of Illinois State Route 3, discovered human remains along the creek bed south of Gall Road here in Columbia. The Monroe County Coroner's Office was called to the scene, initiating an investigation. An autopsy was conducted, and the manner of death was classified as a homicide. Shortly thereafter, a forensic anthropologist examined the remains, determining that the victim was an African-American female between the ages of 33 and 49 who had given birth at least once. It was also determined that she had been along the creek bed for approximately 6 to 12 months before her discovery. Despite extensive efforts by the Columbia Police Department and multiple law enforcement agencies, the victim remained unidentified, known only as Jane Doe for the next 23 years. Today, I'm here to announce that Jane Doe, the homicide victim found in Columbia in 2002, has been positively identified as Carol Jean Hemphill, age 40, of St. Louis, Missouri. Mrs. Hemphill was reported missing on July 27, 2001, from the 5200 block of Davison Avenue in St. Louis. When we made the call to Mrs. Hemphill's husband and daughter to confirm the identification, it was a bittersweet moment. When I took office as coroner, solving this case was one of my goals. We understand the pain, grief, and uncertainty that families experience when a loved one goes missing, and we are relieved to finally provide closure to the Hemphill family. Carol Jean Hemphill was a wife, a mother, and a sister, and on behalf of my office, I extend my deepest condolences to her loved ones. The effort that led to today's announcement was nothing short of extraordinary. If not for the diligence, persistence, and unwavering determination of the Columbia Police Department, specifically Detective Sergeant Michael Barnett and Detective Luke Moravec, Jane Doe's true identity might have remained a mystery for many more years. While balancing active investigations, these detectives worked tirelessly on this case, making hundreds of calls and exploring every possible lead that could connect to Mrs. Hemphill. Thanks to advances in forensic science, expanded DNA testing, and genealogical research, investigators were able to make the breakthrough connection that ultimately identified Mrs. Hemphill. In December 2022, through the hard work of Columbia detectives, this case was selected for a grant funding forensic genetic genealogy testing. A portion of the remains was sent to the University of North Texas for human identification for analysis. Then in late October 2024, Detectives Barnett and Moravec received a crucial lab report identifying a genetic link between the remains and a male DNA sample belonging to Dale Howard. Further investigation revealed that Howard was a biological son of Carol Jean Hemphill. With the assistance of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, DNA samples were obtained from Carol's husband, daughter, and sister. These samples were submitted for further analysis, and on February 24, 2025, a positive match was confirmed. This case demonstrates the power of collaboration across law enforcement and forensic science. I want to express my sincere gratitude to the Columbia Police Department, the Illinois State Police, the University of North Texas Center for Human Identification, the St. Charles County Police Department, the Major Case Squad of Greater St. Louis, the St. Louis County Police Department, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Their dedication and teamwork were instrumental in bringing long-awaited answers to the Carol Jean Hemphill's family. At this time, I will turn it over to the Columbia Police Chief, Jason Donjon, for any questions regarding the case status. And then additionally, members of the Carol Hemphill's family who have traveled here from Texas are present, and if they wish to speak, may do so after Chief Donjon.
Thank you, Coroner Hill. I'll try not to repeat much of what he says, and we also have the press releases back there if you guys haven't had one. But my name is Jason Donjan. I'm the police chief at Columbia, Illinois Police Department. This case has been 23 years that we've been trying to find it, and we finally have the identity figured out. What I will tell the family is we appreciate you coming here. We appreciate all the that you have done to cooperate as far as giving DNA samples so we could get this done. And we promise that although Carol is identified, the case is not done. We're not going to stop this case. It is still right now an open homicide, and we want to do everything we can for you all to make sure we close that case, so we will be continuing working on this. Since the time in 2002 when we discovered the remains, Columbia Police Department has tirelessly tried to identify the remains. As new DNA technology and forensics testing improved over the years, possible relatives and DNA matches would arise. DNA was collected and sent off in hopes they would find a match for the profile for our Jane Doe. However, a positive match remained unfounded. As Coroner Hill said, it took many years, many tries, but we, as the Columbia Police Department, I know for Captain Heine and I, when we were in detectives, we would get things and we'd go get DNA from people maybe that lost their families around this time, the 2001, 2002 time, and send it off. So it's been an ongoing effort. But as Coroner Hill said too, I want to recognize Detective Sergeant Michael Barnett and Detective Luke Moravec, who really took this and got this all rolling. And that's why we're here today and have a positive identification. I just want to reiterate to you guys, people that we wanted to help Illinois State Police, the FBI, the Coroner's Office, the University of Northern Texas. That's where they did this grant and got the test that really, once we reached out to them to compare the DNA, which you guys were very willing to do, that gave us the match. So it still took a little bit of time, I know, but we got Carol identified. As I said, we are going to continue our efforts. This case is not done. We want to close this case for you all. Today, however, is about officially reporting that Carol Hemphill has been identified and is no longer missing. Today, it is about getting Carol back to her loved ones for proper services. We hope the identification of Carol brings some sense of closure to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you guys want to say anything?
I just want to thank everybody that's it for all y'all hard work and effort to help bring my mom home. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all for coming. And once we wrap this up, obviously you guys take whatever time you need. So do we have any questions for anybody that we could help with?
I'd love to know, referring to these beautiful pictures over here, this question is really for the family and anyone here, but it's been more than 2 decades since she went missing. So in that time, family members who may have passed away, what does us being here today mean to them?
I didn't totally understand your question, man.
To the family members that's
The
passed
family
Wait a
away.
members who
What this
passed
mean to
away.
us? What this mean to us? Like they said, let us know where Carol is. Bring her home. Get her to go. Let her put her to rest and don't worry about where she at. Now, for them to do the rest of their job is not what I'm talking about. But what they did to us, it gave us not the word closure. That's not the word I want to use. Cause we still hurting. So I hope that answers your question. It give us hope that they'll go on and find. If they didn't, I'm not going there. But that's it.
So we had, when we reached out to them, they were more than willing to help, and they said, we asked if we could have some pictures, because we had, as you see in the press release, a sketch rendering, and they sent us pictures, and I mean, yeah, to me, it looks very, it's a match. So they were very helpful in not only providing DNA samples so we could get the conclusion, but also sending pictures, agreeing, as you can see, to come up here and support.
How would you all would like Carol to be remembered? I need to talk with the family, not chief, or families would like to say just some words about her.
Well, I'm Carol's youngest sister, and my sister was a good person. She's truly loved and missed. We were very close as a family. We always did things together. Me, her, and my other sister, we always kept each other's children So there was no babysitter needed, but we were very close. I would like for her to be remembered as a loving mother, a great sister, and she didn't deserve this. I would have never thought that this would have happened to one of my family members. I see a lot of stuff on TV, but I would have never thought that it would have hit home like it did.
How does it feel for you to have her identified at this point?
That's a blessing. That's a relief for me because I've been going through a lot through the years. Like I said, we were very close. So it's like a relief. There's been this heaviness on me that feel like it's starting to be lifted a little, not a lot. So it's a blessing. I'm glad that you guys finally found my sister after 24 years. That's a long time. Didn't know what to think, didn't know where she was, stressing, going to doctors, seeing therapists, seeing psychiatrists, all of that was involved. Medication, but I'm glad that we can put her at rest and that everybody knows that my sister has been found. And thank you.
Can you give us your name, please?
My name is Deborah Husband.
How many children and now grandchildren does Carol have?
She had three. She had three. We lost two of our sons passed, and this is our only living daughter. If y'all want to know about Carol, I'm gonna tell you about her. I met Carol when I was 18 before I went in the Army. And we had plans on getting married after AIT. She called me. We're right after AIT. Hey, baby, let's go ahead and start our family. Got up there in North Carolina. We started our family. But her grandkids, she have 8 grandkids here and 3 great-grandkids that she haven't seen. And then, that's it. This her legacy right here.
Your daughter, how old were you when your mother disappeared?
I was 21.
Can you talk to us about what you remember about her? What kind of person she was?
She don't have to know.
She
don't feel like
all
that.
I can say
Where
is she's
they
the
be-
most beautiful person you could ever meet. She had a beautiful heart, a bright smile.
Yes.
Can you touch on briefly just the challenges with identifying the remains over these 23 years and sort of, for the layperson, what has changed in technology that would help us identify?
I can't give you, I was hoping the representative from the FBI would be able to make it to kind of explain that, but yes, I can tell you that as the years would go on, we would get Illinois State Police or different foundations that deal with missing people, and they would say, hey, have you heard this new technology exists? So we would say, okay, because we had the DNA profile from the remains, but once this new stuff would come out, so you kind of get your hopes up, and we would get hopeful that this one is going to do it, this one's going to do it. And then until this recent one, it was a lot of negative matches and stuff like that. So it was very tough, but we, just to have this today, to have them here, and it's been worth it for us. So.
How's the amount of the grant?
I don't know the amount of the grant. It's through the DOJ, Department of Justice, and so the testing is done down in Texas, and then it's supported by the FBI, and the FBI actually does the portion of genetic genealogy of actually investigating potential matches, building family trees, et cetera, that goes into the genetic genealogy portion of DNA testing.
Had you ever applied for this grant before?
Yes, we had applied for grants before, and we had not received them. It wasn't until we got this grant from the DOJ that genetic genealogy started in 2022.
Could you just touch on the changes in genealogy testing, DNA testing in general, between now and 23 years ago?
Sure. So, 23 years ago, I wasn't even a cop. But 23 years ago, it was more one-on-one testing, right? STR testing, which is more for one-on-one. Then began familial searches, which would allow testing like we've done today, right? But there's not a giant database for us to access. So we more need them all to go to one centralized location, which is Texas. 2022 is when what's called SNP came along, and that's the genetic genealogy that we hear about today, where you hear people sending samples into Ancestry, getting potential matches back. And that's where this all kind of kicked off, is we got the potential hit through the grant, which then allowed us to identify Carol's family here today. They were willing and helpful in the process, and that allowed us to send specific familial searches to get the match of Carol, if that makes sense.
Give us your name, please.
My name is Michael Barnett.
Can you spell it?
Barnett is my last. My first name is Michael. Anything else? Turn it back
Can you
over.
talk to us about where this case is now? Anything you can say about that? Or?
No, I mean, throughout this whole process, there was a lot of people saying, do you think this was the serial killer in St. Louis around 2001, 2002? And so now with the Maury Travis, who died in 2002 at the St. Louis County Jail, now with the identification, we're reaching out to the departments that dealt with the other departments that dealt with some of these other murders, and going to run this DNA through that to see if anything matches, or any clothing that they had collected years ago would match, ours or something, now that we have a positive identification. So
Do you have any reason to believe that the two would have interacted at any point in time?
all I can tell you, and if they want,
No, I'm gonna answer that. From what I'm hearing from my family and from what we in the Oak Davis neighborhood, the guy been known in the neighborhood. So my wife, like the Carol was outgoing, and we moved that. Well, she moves around. We grew up in on Davis. People move around, so yes, it was a chance. But a lot of people have. So it ain't like he just ran into her.
A
I
lot
know.
of our family members, since this has taken place, has ran across him, before he passed or
Before
got
this even
arrested.
happened.
Before we even knew anything about my mama being found,
But you missed
they
something.
had already ran across him. And I have a cousin who
He just has been
killed
around.
one of her female cousins.
Yeah, he been so that's how it's easy for him. If you look him up, you'll see how.
And then my brother's baby mom, she was supposed to be here, but she's not. She said that she's seen him
Yeah, he was.
in the area.
He was known
where
in
she's
the
at.
areas.
Thank you, folks.
Corey, do you have anything else? We thank you guys for coming. Once we get out, the family members, feel free to take as much time as you need here, and we can't thank you enough for coming as well. So thank you, everybody.